Market went up.
Yeah, yeah. Finished off strong.
It did. What caused it?
I have no idea. I really don't spend that much time watching the day-to-day market. I was just watching a developers conference for by Sam Altman and ChatGPT and their new ChatGPT 4 Turbo,
hmm
and what all that's going to entail. And it's wonderful how you just ask questions. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be anything. It just you ask questions, it gives answers,
Yeah.
which opens up all kinds of opportunities in the future.
Yeah. That is for sure. It's
Yeah.
amazing how I've used it, even though I'm still haven't figured out a couple things with like Google Sheets and programming Google Sheets,
Hmm.
how you can go in there and upload what you have and say, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And it'll tell you what you're doing wrong, which is pretty cool.
Well, what I thought was interesting in this conference is the CEO of Microsoft showed up, Satya Nadella, um, and how I guess I was a little shocked that he was very questioning about Sam as to what you're doing and how you're doing it, and that it is basically being run by Sam and not by Microsoft. And Microsoft is just, working as a partner and plugging things in to to make it what it eventually will become. Um, kind of, again, I did a video that'll come out on tomorrow about the three stocks that I want to own for the next 3 years. And when I was creating the thumbnail, I realized I'd used that title before. The three stocks I want to own for the next 3 years. And I did that video on January the 21st of 2020. And the three stocks I wanted to own for the next 3 years were CRISPR, Editas, and Nutella. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out. And as I explained in the video, the reason it didn't work out that I didn't take into consideration is it wasn't up to Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel de Carpentier, the Pulitzer Prize winners. It's really up to the FDA, or Food and Drug Administration. It's up to the insurance companies. I don't know if you've read, CRISPR last week announced that they had run a test on sickle cell anemia and had something like 50 people in it, and all but one of them is cured. But again, putting yourself in the position of the FDA, okay, they're cured and they've been on this drug now for 1 year, but what happens 3 years from now? What are the unintended consequences? What are the things that are going to happen that you're unaware of and we're unaware of, because the body is just now adapting to that change? And then the the course or the article I read said that, if I remember right, the anticipated cost of this treatment will be roughly $3 million per person.
Huh.
Well, how does the insurance company absorb that? The answer to it is the disease has to cost the insurance. Treating the disease has to cost the insurance company more than the cost of the cure. Well, how long do you take to prove that? So that's why I don't think the biotech world will have this settled in the next year, 2 years, maybe even 3. But nothing's holding back artificial intelligence. And if you'll watch this video, it's called ChatGPT DVL Day, Developers Day, and then you realize he's just short a month, or just short a matter of days, when this was first introduced to the world. It isn't quite a year yet. It's about, I guess he's got another 10 days to where it was a year. And this conference was done 4 days ago. And they're talking about you and I being able to go in and set up a ChatGPT or a bot that will answer questions. And I've been talking to Trent about this because I see this so easily incorporated into our website. And what I mean by that is I realized I did a video today that's not getting much play on Snowflake. And that video was prompted by I found a video of a conference held by Snowflake for their customers, and it was attended by Jason Hong, the CEO of NVIDIA, and he and Frank Slootman were explaining their partnership and how they were working for the improvement and introduction of artificial intelligence. And if you're not familiar with Snowflake, I recognized them some time ago as a up and coming company, and they're not profitable. They've been around for about 4 years, I believe, and they are what is called a data warehouse. So I like to use the example of Regions Bank. That's my bank, Nita and I's bank. We've been with AmSouth, which turned into Regions, since I guess 1980, 87. And what I realized is they know more about me and my life and what I buy and what I sell and what I spend and what I make and than anybody on this earth. And they have it in the form of, I guess, 30 years of data that they've been collecting on me and Nita, but they don't know what to do with it. Think about that. They got all this data and they don't know what to do with it. I mean, go talk to a banker. They are not the smartest people in the world. They prove that about every 5 years, that they don't know what the hell they're doing, but they know more about us than anywhere else in the world. So they've got this data, and I guess think of it as 15 semi trucks filled with little modules of data. What are they going to do with it? Well, they don't know. So they will go to a company like Snowflake, and Snowflake will say, well, okay, we'll warehouse your data, and we'll help you organize it. And then we want to introduce you to Jensen Huang, and he is going to accelerate your access using his GPU Grace Hopper chip, so that you can, with a question, access Kerry and Nita's data and help them run their lives better and endow them more to you as a company and give them a better service. Now, what has to happen, though, is somebody has to come in and say, okay, you've got NVIDIA has, with the help of Supermacro Computers, has built the computer and has the speed and the capability of processing this data. Now we need somebody to write an app for you, Regions Bank, to achieve what you want to achieve. And that will be, and literally they will say, talk into this machine or type into, what is it you want to achieve? Well, I want to, first of all, know what is Kerry and Nita's biggest problem with Regions Bank and how can we fix it? And it's all in the data. It's all, Jensen has said this, any question you've got, it's in the data. We just need to access it, process it, and give you your answer. And that's what's going to happen for every part of this world. So now the missing element, and that's why I was watching this conference from Sam Altman, is who's going to develop the app, and they use the word now agent, the agent who is going to process Regions data to create the agent, that's the word, the agent that will fulfill their artificial intelligence needs. And that's what Sam was talking to, an auditorium full of developers. So in essence, if you put this all together, Sam and OpenAI built this platform. They made it available to Microsoft in exchange for a $10 billion investment. And Microsoft then entered into an agreement with Jensen Huang and NVIDIA and said, build, and then Supermacro Computers, build us the computers that we can put in your data centers, all the data centers, that will have the capability of processing all this data that all these companies have at a speed and a cost that is agreeable and efficient. Now what they need, as I say, is a developer. Where does that come from? I got an email yesterday from two guys in San Francisco, California. And it said, we've developed something for you and we'd like to show it to you. Click on this. He gave a little more description so that I would click on it, and I did. And up appeared a screen on my computer that had a chat box, and on the left-hand side was the thumbnails of 4 of my recent videos. And he said, ask them a question in the Chat GPT box about those 4 videos. And so I did. One of them was the video I did about Sam Altman and Gregory Parker. Gregory is the ex-CEO of Silicon Valley Bank. And so I asked, what is the relationship between Gregory Parker and Sam Bankman-Fried? And it took about 2 seconds, and it gave me the answer of what I had said in that video relative to those two people. I then asked him, what book was I referring to that I suggested everybody should read? And he came back and it said the Michael Lewis book on, I forget the name of it. And so it took my data out of those 4 videos and it explained it to me. So then I thought, I'm going to see what it can do with this. And I asked it the question, can you explain to me the difference between a Roth IRA and a conventional IRA and the advantages and disadvantages of each one of them? Had nothing to do with the 4 videos I put up. Within 2 seconds, it gave me 6 bullet points that explained the difference totally. Now, I'm a financial, I knew the answer to the question, did it in 4 seconds. Now, then it said, we'd like to talk to you. Well, they want to sell me something. Now, I want to buy something. And we are going to find out what the price tag is on that. Because I think if with my knowledge, Trent's knowledge, and Mark's knowledge, we can build something on our website that will be unheard of, and you would never have it anywhere else. I would ask you, Judy's no longer here. You all know who Judy is. I would ask Judy how she would like if she could go to a website and ask, what's a stop loss order? And what's the difference between a fixed price and a percentage price? And what are they talking about trailing? And it would come back and give her the answer on any question that she had. That's about 6 months away. And why I want to say that is back in January 21st of 2020, I did a video where I talked about in the near future, I'll be able to get my genome sequenced and I'll know the propensity I will have for cancer. That's still about 3-5 years away. But what I'm talking about here is just as big, will change the world, maybe not quite as much, but it's only 60 days away for me to be able to implement that. If I can do it, think about all the interchanges that you have in your life, and they will be able to do that. Remember the last time you called your credit card company or your cable and company, and they put you on the phone for 45 minutes?
Yeah.
They helped you up on the phone for 45 minutes. That will go away. That will go away. It will be within 3 seconds. You will go in and say, I can't get to this on my account, or my TV isn't working. And they won't say, well, you're in the wrong department and we're going to have to switch you to here and there. And you sit on the phone for another 45. That will go away within 6 months.
I think.
And so I think that's the takeaway that I want to share with you, that there are some companies you need to own. Now, the next thing I did that I thought would, in Jensen's conversation, he used some words I didn't know. And so I went to NVIDIA's website, and he was talking about autonomous driving vehicles. And I said to myself, what's he talking about? Is he going in competition with Elon Musk? And so I went and I found his press release, and it was accompanied by a video. And what Jensen is building is in Elon's car, he has about 6 different computers. And they do everything from see the videos or the cameras that he has. They monitor his systems. They even, he has these
Okay, the
whoopee
shoes are
cushion
going.
noises
cup
in his
Is
car,
set.
and he has entertainment. Well, Jensen is saying, I'm creating one computer that will sit in that car, and it will do all those things. And it can go into ICE car, internal combustion cars, and electric cars. It can go into any kind of vehicle. This dude is going after every element of our lives with his computers. So that is one of the even though it's enormously the overpriced relative to its PE ratio, I see why it is. So that is one of the stocks I think you must own. And then I think you must own super macro computers. And I got a comment from when I said that in one of my videos. Yes, I'm waiting for the right buy-in price. That could be one of the biggest mistakes all of us make. I play that game too. I go in and I say, I want to buy this at $342.67. And it's $3 away from it, and I don't buy it. That could be one of the biggest mistakes you and I ever make. Because once these interest rates start to come down, tech is taken off. Microsoft is whipping the curve right now. Today, I believe it hit an all-time high. I am hoping something is going to happen to bring it down 10 to 20%, but it could be a big, big mistake if, in fact, the market is already programming in that interest rates are going to come down and these people's stocks are going to explode. So the other company that is not being treated favorably is Symbotics. You need to understand what Symbotics is. Symbotics is a robot company. They make robots, and they're not these dogs that move around. They're machines that pick things up and put them somewhere else and open things up and whatever. And they're run by artificial intelligence. And they're building out Walmart and Target and different people's distribution centers, and have a backlog of orders for something in the neighborhood of the next 2 years. And then they created an agreement with SoftBank, and they're going to do this for collective distribution centers. In other words, if you're a Spotify seller and you have stuff in a distribution center along with 50 other companies, they're going to do the same thing for them. So those are 3 stocks that are going to benefit, I believe, exponentially from what is about to happen. And then, of course, not Apple. I don't know what Apple is going to do. They have not been very forthcoming on where they think they're going to fit into artificial intelligence. But Microsoft, Google, and Meta, and Amazon are going to be major, major players in this. I don't know if you've noticed on your Google search, they have already changed that. Google search is going through a progression. Now, when you search, you get a BART answer rather than just a bunch of go to this website, go to that website. So this is happening fast. And I think I think we as a community need to recognize it and work together to make some good investment decisions. Okay, that's my monologue for the night. Okay.
So some say that, Google might go to 50, 60 bucks because of Chat GPT. There's a lot of confusing information out there because when you search in Google, you get a whole list of things. You want information, you want direct resource, you go to Chat GPT, and they're saying that's really going to take over and it's going to kill them. I don't know if it's true. I'm just going by all the things I'm reading.
Right.
What I
Because that's their revenue.
So recently, it was earlier this week, I was trying to learn how to flip some formulas within Google Sheets. And so I went on there and the Google Sheet or Google search came up and said, would you like to get on the wait list for our AI version or Bard version of of Google search? And I was like, well, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So I clicked yes, and within 30 seconds, I guess I got off the wait list and all of a sudden had access to Bard within it. And I started asking questions, and it would give me the Bard answer. And then it would ask me, just put the code in and let us take a look at it. So I copied the code, I dropped it into the search, and Bard came back and said, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, below it is the traditional Google search. So I wonder, and I think they did this with Bing, right? With ChatGPT integrated in Bing, Microsoft's Bing search engine.
Correct.
Yeah.
They were the first to do it.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if this is going to be, I mean, it's a race right now, I think.
Right.
But is Google behind on this? I think, since the beginning of all this a year ago, Microsoft saw opportunity, dropped 10 billion into it or something.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
And they're in the lead. And like Kerry's saying, Apple still hasn't shown up to the party yet. So we're waiting on that. But is Google really that far behind? I guess.
And I think, Robert, my take on that is they're all going to find their place. Now, and what I mean by that is Google has mastered search over Bing. Microsoft has mastered the business world. Google has mastered the consumer world. And I think they'll find their place as Amazon has taken ownership of e-commerce. I wouldn't bet against Google and in saying that they're going to fall behind on this. I really wouldn't, because I think there's just so many. We're identifying with it based on what we understand today, and we don't understand but 1% of it.
Oh, we're not there yet, and there's more to be developed. But I'm just, putting out there. I've been reading a lot about ChatGPT, and it's not about that Google's behind. Where are you going to go when you want a direct answer to a situation you're trying to resolve? The fastest way to get that information right now, as I've learned using it, my company using it, is ChatGPT. It gives you the direct information. It saves you all the time of searching through Google or Bing. Yeah. You get the direct answers instead of getting pages to try and find the answer. That's all I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and I could be wrong on this, that at some point that isn't going to be available to us.
What's
for
that?
free. Chat
For
GPT.
well, right
No, I
now,
don't think so. I don't think so. As your formula is subscriptions. If you want, I'm sure there'll be a standard, but it's not gonna elaborate. But I
Exactly.
believe there's gonna be different tiers of subscriptions, like for companies, maybe premium, might be advanced, I don't know. But it's yet to be developed. What, ChatGPT just came out with a four
Yes.
turbo or something like that, I just
For
read.
turbo.
Right. So anyway, it's still being developed. It's still coming out. I don't think that they really know 100% how they're going to monetize it yet, but
Yes, they do.
they
If
do.
you'll watch,
Okay.
if you'll watch this video from Sam Altman, and it's called the video is called the D Developer, DVL Day. And the way they're going to sell it is
DVL Day.
DVL Day, such as Developer Day.
Oh,
The way they're going to
developer.
sell it is you're going to buy tokens. And that is for so much per token, you will get so many minutes of interchange. And that interchange will not only be exchange of question and answer, it will be, okay, now develop me a picture that I can market this under. Write me the code that I need to put into my website to make this work.
So
And
Kerry, you just answered your own question. What they're
Right.
developing is a subscription service,
yes.
right? That's going to kill Google. That's what I
No,
believe.
I'm saying Google will do the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying Google's going to be behind the times because they're so advanced already. You know, it's like everybody trying to catch up to Tesla. That's my own opinion.
Yeah. Oh,
BMW is not selling electric cars. I heard that out of my sales guy. I own 4 or 5 of them, okay, in my company. So he tells me, he says, those electric cars, Bob, they're not selling. So Tesla owns the market, just as you're saying. I believe ChatGPT is going to own the market. And it's going to hurt Google because how does Google make money? They make their money through ads. I pay for those ads too.
yeah.
Google nails me every month, and they did this whole new change. But anyway, that's on another topic. But I'm just saying to you that I think Google is going to be in trouble, and they see it, the writing on the wall.
well, you think of it from the perspective of a year ago, this wasn't public, ChatGPT.
Right.
And now you had ChatGPT 3 that came out. Then they came out with 4, which I pay for right now because I'm learning
Right.
I can upload data to it and have it analyze it.
Right.
They come out with Turbo, and we're not even a year yet.
Right.
How many levels of Google has Google or anybody else done?
Not even close, and it's going to be like the iPhone, the new iPhone every year coming out, right? Before you know it, you're going to have, ChatGPT 10, 13, 15,
Yeah.
I just it's just out there yet, but I foresee it being a big problem for Google and earnings. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I could be wrong.
The other part of Google is they have other sources of income. Of course, ads, their enterprise division.
But that's what I'm driving at. Because you don't go there, you're not going to click on their ads anymore. You're just going to go, listen, I need an answer, right?
Yeah.
Here's my problem. I'm not looking for a company. I'm not looking for a product. I'm looking for answers. Everybody goes to Google for answers today. That's going to disappear. That's what I'm driving at.
Yeah.
That's going to affect their revenue. That's what I'm driving at.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking to buy a car, well, you go to Google and you're basically going to ask it questions. And find a dealer or whoever, whatever you want to find out.
But now even that, based on what you're saying, I'll just go to ChatGPT once it becomes fully live
Right.
And it'll tell me exactly, well, Bob Chevrolet, if you'll just drive 2 more miles west, you'll get 2% discount.
I just rest my case.
Bob, what do you got?
Yeah, I got a question here. By the way, on the presentation you made this morning on Snowflake, you know who owns Snowflake?
Who?
Who owns Snowflake is Warren.
He has stock in it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. He owns
Yeah.
Snowflake.
He was an early buyer.
And he was an early buyer. He must have seen something that he liked other than maybe
Yeah.
financials.
Yeah.
So I thought that was sort of interesting. And also going back to, and I'm sorry, I sort of missed a little bit of what you were saying because you're sort of changing the agenda where you've been looking at fundamentals and technicals. You're sort of saying that playing the game on pricing may be a penny short, that perhaps a person shouldn't be screwing around waiting for a $3 drop, but should be buying Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon. And with Robert, what Robert said, sounds like Google is the one you could wait till it gets to 60.
I would
Is
say
that what you're
yes.
saying? And there was also another
That's what I'm saying. I believe that it's going down and it has not really moved up in any substantial way. And I think everybody's sitting and waiting to see what happens because it kind of makes sense. Just think about
I think you got to take into account the foundation of all that everything is built on, and that is our global economy. And if you start to pick that apart, I don't know. I think you'll get your discount. You know, I think you get all those at a discounted rate. So
Why buy it at 120, 130 when you can buy it at 75 or 65 or whatever, or buy it on its way down? I don't know. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but it seems it's logical.
Yeah.
Bob, one of the stocks you mentioned, I wouldn't jump on too heavy is Tesla.
I agree. No, I totally agree.
Particularly with the China problem, that their economy seems to be going down fast.
On SMCI, I understand that. Was there something before SMCI that you said?
NVIDIA.
Oh, so NVIDIA. All right. So you're a proponent on NVIDIA.
Oh my God.
You don't think their day is over with?
Oh no.
No,
I think they're just getting started. I'm anxious. Advanced Micro Devices, it says they've got a chip that'll come out in December that will compete with I think NVIDIA's chip is called a Grace Hopper or something like that. And I would like to see a second player in that field. The other one I think has some real strategic possibilities is Intel. I think we have to have a foundry, a maker of chips here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our government's going to do anything and everything it has to do in order to make it happen. So
I agree too. Yep.
That's more of a strategic or a security play.
Yep.
I think you definitely, with the volatility of China right now and the potential of them invading Taiwan, a lot of what is being manufactured over there has to be brought over here or to our neighbor in the south in Mexico, because at some point that relationship's going to break in China.
Yeah.
Well, you had another question, Bob?
No, you answered everything. Yep, thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's hard to imagine.
Everything flows south, Kerry.
I guess we'll catch all of that in Florida then, since everything is flowing here. Oh, anyhow.
Well, I see Nick's with us.
Yes, can you hear me?
Driving? You driving to the beach again?
I am, I go to Plymouth, and as you know, what is Plymouth famous for? Thanksgiving.
The Mayflower.
And so they have
Thanksgiving. Okay.
and yeah, Thanksgiving, and they have a big Thanksgiving parade next week. But it's going to be a pretty decent weekend. Here in New England, it has rained 16 out of 20 weekends. And so even though I appreciate fall foliage, I'm not crazy about going all the way to an hour and a half drive to my beach resort and having it rain. So, but this weekend's gonna be a nice weekend. Do you know what today is, Kerry?
I was thinking about you when I guess it was last week when I saw this hurricane coming right over where you're at. I thought, I wonder if he went this week.
Well, I'm on a bluff, so it's about a 300-foot bluff. So
okay.
I'm well protected. I'm not. It's a nice and safe location. So today is a very important day in my life because 3 years ago marks the anniversary of my first day of membership to the Best of Us Investors Club. And at that time, it's been 3 years, 36 months. Now, my wife would say that $10 a month could have easily have gone to 2 months of iced matcha tea latte with golden foam at a Starbucks. Okay. She said, do you think you get a better value by 2 months at Starbucks than 3 years of us investors? And it made me reflect because, as you know, if we go back 3 years ago, the world was at peace. World hunger was at an all-time low. Democracy was actually popular. We were printing cash and more cash, and I didn't even know what the word inflation meant. And Bitcoin was a thing. Tesla was a thing. And so wasn't Cathie Woods. So as we fast forward to 2023, I see the world differently, right? The world's on fire. Peter Zion, damn that guy. And, there's a Washington shit show going on. And, there's a debt ceiling and, I don't know, interest rates with inflation. And so my question to you, Kerry, was 2023 a good year for you in the stock market if you look back on your portfolio?
Actually, I would say yes. I'm probably up about 15%, but I was down very, very severely as a result of the biotech exposure that I had. So yeah, I've recovered some of my losses, but I think it's in great part because I was in some of the tech stocks that came up, and I wasn't in some of the biotechs that even went further down. So, but am I back to my high? No.
Sure. So, I was attracted to your to the Best of Us Investors because I was looking for at that time a 3 to 5 year horizon, and I was really curious about innovative stocks. I was immediately attracted to Cathie Woods. I looked at her 3 to 5 year track record. She was number one on top of the mountain, on the mountaintop. Okay. And so now I see you're getting influenced by that mark from the evil empire about fundamental technical analysis, about all these squiggly lines on a chart. And see, that's not me. I'm a long-term investor. I got a 3 to 5 year horizon. So I got some questions for you, Kerry. I got 9 or 10 quick questions. Just give me a quick answer. I want to hear your thoughts. Number one, Are you concerned about the debt ceiling issues happening in the next couple of weeks? And how would that affect the market if in fact we default?
I don't, past history tells me we will not default because they can't allow it to happen. I know who controls the printing presses. And I don't think see that as a possibility. I really don't.
Number two, we got world events, okay? Who knows what's going to happen in the Middle East? We got Iran with their oil and gas, and they're firing stuff at the United States. Do you see anything that would happen in the Middle East that would cause a rise in gas and fuel prices, which would then affect inflation all over the world? Would that have a marked impact on the markets for 2024?
I've been reading something about oil prices and the fact that everybody is somewhat surprised that they haven't gone up. In fact, they have gone down, coupled with the fact that our strategic supply is at 50% of capacity. And again, the prices did not go up. It seems to me, Nick, that the market and the world wants to ignore that and doesn't see it as anything of consequence.
Okay, the stock is up 27% this year. She's always made the prediction that if you get into her fund, that she's going to predict anywhere from 25 to 30% year after year. That yet there are outflows happening the last 3 or 4 months. Should I? And my accountant calls me up and says, "Hey, it's November, December. You want to offset your capital gains? Give me all the stocks that you've taken losses on, or you think you want to sell. Do I sell, Kathy? Do I sell the RK fund?"
I've lost confidence in Kathy. I think she is somewhat blind to what's actually happening in the world. She, I guess the one that sticks out in my mind is Teladoc. How that is just not happening, and she continues to stay with it. I don't follow her accounts very much more. I know I've listened to her extensively on Elon Musk and Tesla. I'm 3/4 of the way through the Elon Musk book, and I think he and Sam Bankman-Fried went to the same school together and are probably children of the same mother. They're weirdos that fell into something, and because of their unique ability to concentrate and focus, they challenge. Sam was the wealthiest man under 30, and Elon is the wealthiest man over 30. But there's some weird ducks. So I'm not concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
But Kathy,
I do follow
think
her because. Go ahead.
No, I think Kathy is off the mark. I saw an interview with Peter Zion talking with one of Kathy's premier advisors about electric semi trucks and how they were going to basically have autonomous vehicles running up and down the road in caravans. And Peter Zion made some, and I don't even remember what it was. There isn't enough copper in the world to make that happen. And you have to have copper. And maybe it wasn't copper, but maybe it was lithium or whatever. There isn't enough lithium in the world to allow that to happen. And these people just blew it off. but I don't know anybody who digs deeper than Peter Zion.
Well, I do follow Kathy Woods only because she sends me her trades every day. And in the RK, the ARK-G fund, she's been basically purchasing genomic stocks. And so, like Editas, right? It went up 18% last week. And it had great earnings, right? Top and bottom line. CRISPR went up 31% year to date. Beam up 32% last week. She's buying a shitload of Pacific Bio. And so my question to you is now the time to double down on these types of genomic stocks? Yes or no?
No. And let me give you
Okay.
a reason why. The reason those stocks are up is because CRISPR came out with a study that said that they had multiple people who were cured from sickle cell anemia. But then if you kept reading, it went on to say that the treatment is estimated to cost $3 million and that the FDA is not convinced yet, and the insurance companies aren't rushing to say we will cover that cost. So I think, and I said earlier, Nick, I think it's still another 3 years off. I am a little puzzled as to why Pacific went up 30% and Illumina, who owns 90% of the market, went down 20%.
Kathy Woods is buying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
Kathy Woods.
Yeah, it's Kathy Woods. With respect to artificial intelligence, the only one I have is Palantir. And, I don't listen to Mark. Again, those squiggly lines on a chart. So I've been downing on Palantir. It is up 205% for the year. And you heard about the earnings call. And, you think that the CEO is a quack. What are your thoughts about keeping that as a long-term hold?
I bought Palantir, I think about 10, and I sold it at about 14.50, and I'll buy it again at 14.
Okay, well, it's at 17 or 18 right now.
Yeah, well, it was
1961.
that today.
Yeah, but it's a traded stock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's another. I don't know. There's a group of people who buy Palantir, Tesla, and AMC theaters.
Okay, my last question. You mentioned Sam Bankman, and
Oh,
so I am in Coinbase because I don't understand Bitcoin, to be honest with you, but I got the exchange. It is up 163% for the year. Where do you see Bitcoin? Because it seems to be slowly working its way back up. And as you know, Kathy Wood said it will be 200,000 or something, somehow ridiculous number in the next 10 years.
Did you read Michael Lewis's book, Nick?
No, but I do know that a lot of the old timers feel that it's just it's a joke, right?
If you read Michael Lewis's book, you will not buy another piece of Bitcoin because
What?
Huh?
What?
Okay. Let me explain my opinion on Bitcoin. Sam Bankman-Fried became the richest under 30 because he had Alavita, which
Alameda.
was what is it?
Alameda. It's his private hedge fund.
It's a private hedge fund. Okay. And he recognized in the first 2 chapters of that book, they explain that when Sam got into Alameda, he realized that Bitcoin was selling for $10 in the United States, and it was selling for $12.50 in Korea. That should be enough but I'll explain what Sam did. In Korea, Americans are not allowed to buy Bitcoin. So Sam hooked up with a college student here in the United States that was of Korean birth and got him to become the exchange officer for buying it for 10 and selling it for 12.50 in Korea. Now, his problem was getting the money out of Korea. So he hired some people to fly to Korea and then to fly the money back to Alameda. So he found an arbitrage. There are millions of arbitrages within Bitcoin and every other element of cryptocurrency. Now, where he went wrong was he was making $40 million a month from Alameda. And he said, I want more. I need more. And the way he made it was he came to you and said, if you will lend me $20 million, I will pay you 50% interest on it. And you lent it to him and he paid you the interest, but he only needed it for a day to buy the Bitcoin here in the United States and then to sell it in Korea. And then he paid you your 50% divided by 360. But you didn't have enough money for him to keep this going, so he created FTX. And he then got Bob up upstate New York's money, and he held the exchange. But he didn't tell Bob, he didn't keep it in Bitcoin. He cashed it in and sent it over to Alameda to buy more stuff in Korea. That's where he made his mistake. He took Bob's money and he didn't do what he said he was going to do with it. He did something else. Now, did Bob lose any value? No. If Bob called up and said, I want my $30,000 Bitcoin, I want to redeem it, fine. He had the money. Every once in a while, he lost the money because the whole network is so crazy and it's run by a bunch of teenagers who don't know business, who don't know accounting.
That was FTX. That's FTX.
And it's every other exchange.
No, it isn't.
It's the Wild West. It's somebody coming to your ranch and saying, I want 2,000 head of your cattle at $100 a piece, and here's the check for it, and I'll come back in a month and get the cattle. But you forget to come and get the cattle, and the guy who owns the cattle forgets who he sold it to. That's Bitcoin. That's
FTX.
There is no regulation. There is no supervision. It is the Wild West, and they're playing with your money, and you don't know what the hell is happening to it.
Okay. Can I respond?
What's your next question?
Just a quick response, and I'll get to my last question. Kathy Woods would say the best thing that could have happened was the Sam Bankman convictions, because Washington, D.C. is now going to set regulations to the Bitcoin industry. Younger people, not our generation, but younger people are going to flock to Bitcoin because it's the most convenient way to make purchases. And she is thinking big that in the next 10 years, it's going to just take off and be, with the regulations in place, a normal course of conducting commerce. So let me ask the last question, and I saved the best for last. Did you or did you not listen to the NetList conference call last week? And if you did, what were your thoughts?
I did not. As I have said, my attitude towards NetList is it's a lottery ticket. There's nothing I can do about it. I own it. If I do not want to spend 1 ounce of energy relative to NetList, what's going to happen is going to happen, and I can do nothing about it.
Okay, fair enough. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
you can trade Bitcoin safely. You can buy MicroStrategy, you can buy Grayscale, on the markets, and those are all going up. So there's
Yeah.
a way to
Did,
purchase
did you read
outside
the
of
book?
No, hey, you're confusing.
Okay.
You're confusing how one guy convinced people he was creating the greatest exchange on the planet, FTX, with no guidelines, no CFO, no process of doing business. That does not represent what Bitcoin is in particular. Bitcoin, why is Bitcoin going up? Because you got the country of Switzerland possibly freezing the amount of money you can pull out of your checking account because they're in trouble financially. So people are looking for an alternative to move their money to. Okay. And what is liquid and not governed by central banks? Bitcoin. You've got a long end of the maturity side of the US Treasury that had a terrible auction yesterday, which is showing an indication of moving out of long-term debt, mutual fund or long-term US Treasuries to short-term. And how do you count what's a hedge against that? Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now is trading at 37,000. By the end of the month, it most likely will be over $47,000. So if you're looking for an asset that isn't manipulated by a central bank, that is a set number of Bitcoin, 20 million right now is available, and it is multiple ledgers that record its transactions, I look at it and go, it's where money is flowing right now. And it's not, and it's looking for a place where governments can't control it. You look at what
down here?
you look at what the US government is doing with their introduction of digital currency introduced. What's the difference? There isn't. It's their control, their ability to
who
control
controls it.
And
the difference is who controls it, the government.
And
Do you
Bitcoin
think the government is going to give up its control of currency? Do you
no,
really
that's why
think
they're
that?
fighting for it right now.
But it'll be their currency.
It'll be their currency, but the thing about
It won't be
Bitcoin is
Bitcoin.
no, but Bitcoin is that alternative to a centralized currency.
I just don't think. Look, if you lived under my roof and you said, I don't want to use your currency, I'd say, get the fuck out.
Yeah, but then I would just go over to mom
This
and
is
say,
my
hey, I'll
house.
pay you for
No,
that.
I don't want. If you're not going to follow my rules and pay taxes to me and pay the cost of you being here, get the fuck out.
Hey, can I help on this conversation?
Yeah.
Because I see Nick is wanting to disappear. I think he's getting close to his, and I think there's a key question here, and there's other people out here that haven't asked the question. Kerry, you didn't listen to the conference call, but Nick did, and Nick wants to talk about that conference call with Netlist. Would you proceed, Nick?
Well, the best way to describe the present and future status of Netlist is to either go on Seeking Alpha or the Netlist Investors Relation website and get a copy of the written transcript. But because it's detailed and it's complex. I could summarize it in maybe 3 sentences or less, and that is, with respect to the company itself and this product, which they are a middleman on, they believe that the oversupply of this product has now evaporated, that there's a major demand for this product that they're selling. The only significance to this being is that it keeps the lights on, and they're not going to be digging into looking for lines of credit. So that's the good news. And they perceive that the product that they're going to sell is going to be very bullish in the next, starting now in the next several quarters. So you're not going to see that negative bottom and top line. So that's good news. They also have new patents that are coming out and that they believe is going to meet huge demand of artificial intelligence and the memory storage field, and that they are well positioned to capitalize on that demand for the next several years. And then I'm going to go into the litigation, and I'm not going to get into the legalese of it. There are multiple jurisdictions where there are going to be some preliminary trial decisions coming out. They are very optimistic in terms of claims construction and some motions and some decisions that judges are going to be making soon. In January with Micron. There are other trials in March or April with Samsung and Micron, and there's other litigation in Europe. But Chuck Hong gives a detail of all of the litigation that is upcoming, and so I'm a little disappointed that Kerry chooses to put his head in the sand, because Kerry has done a dozen videos promoting this company, and I would think that Kerry would have a little bit of curiosity as to how things are going, because you and Gabe and some others were the ones that got me onto this company. I'm not really an expert at it, but it doesn't take much to just listen to the conference call or read the transcript. It takes about, it means it was Mega Millions the other day, right? It almost got to $1 billion, and my chance of winning was 1 in 350 million. That's a lottery ticket. In this particular case, most of the decisions from the court are in our favor. Litigation is now down to maybe the 6th or 7th inning. It's not like the cases have been thrown out, okay? These cases are still alive. And so I say it's better than better than a 50% deal that this will be the biggest patent monetary judgment in the history of patent law. Okay, and so I like the fact that I'm better than 50-50 at hitting a mega bucks. If I were to pay $2, knowing that I could win $100,000, more than 50% on a flip of a coin, I would grab it. But again, I refer you back to the Investors Relations transcript so you can just see the chronology of the litigation that's upcoming.
Hey, Nick, I appreciate that. And let me just go, because I'm going to have to leave here in a few minutes. I hear somebody knocking at the door. But in case when you're worrying, or you're saying that things are going up, and they'll probably go up for November, December. I think we're going to have a Christmas rally. I think we might have seen the start of it today. Doesn't mean that the Christmas rally goes into January, February, March. By the way, don't hold me liable for saying that. I'm just a street from the street corner, all right? And so anyhow, thank you for all the information you provided us, Nick. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, Bob, but I'll leave it with this one last sentence. I am in it not because of Micron, not because of Samsung. I am in it because of Google and that 912 patent, which has been affirmed by the patent board and all of the courts at the Federal Appeals Court. And that is the case. That is the big one. So I appreciate Kerry saying, you know what? I'm not looking at the little minor details of the litigation. But the end of the rainbow is the Google litigation, and I'm going to stay in it. I'm just kind of buying into it when it gets to $1 or $1.20. If it goes below $1, I'll put some more money in it. But I'm staying in it until that Google case gets resolved one way or the other. And right now, I like the odds.
Good. I appreciate your input, and so will the other people who watch this on the recording. but I'll take the time this week to read the transcript and listen to it. I prefer to listen to them, and I'll share my opinion next week.
Awesome. All
Okay.
right. Thank you, guys. All
Have
right.
fun, Nick.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Any other comments on Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Read the book.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Kerry. Would you continue on your conversation on Bitcoin? I was really enjoying it. Matter of fact, I was going to ask my wife, she'd make popcorn tonight.
Well, I'm just proud, Bob, at my age, I can still get that excited.
Well, I'll tell you, I hope if I ever come to your house and I bring this topic up, you don't kick my ass out of the house.
Oh, no, no. That you saw who was arguing against me.
So you know what's going to happen? As I say, everything moves south. So I go from Birmingham, Alabama, from Western New York. I go right on down to Trent's place, and I know Trent will be there with open arms.
There you go.
Right.
Come this Thanksgiving, we'll have a big group.
Will you?
My brother, I think my brother's even going to come.
Do you have room for 2 more?
No.
No, I hadn't told my wife that you were coming. They were coming yet. Oh, by the way. Funny.
Okay. So it's always a wonderful time. It just keeps getting more and more expensive.
Yeah. That's right.
We've been doing it for close to every
hour and 11.
Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Huh?
that. Oh, I thought you were talking. Go ahead.
Every Thanksgiving since I think 1987, we've gone to the beach.
It was earlier
No?
than that. It
What?
was, first, we moved to Birmingham in '84,
Okay.
and we went. We stayed at the Holiday Inn the Round in Destin.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
cold, and yeah, I think you've done it every year.
Yeah,
So it's been a while.
that's right.
Yeah,
In fact, Nita's parents were part of it at one point.
that's right.
For a long time. In fact, he paid for where we stayed. That's what grandparents do.
Right.
Okay, any other comments or anybody else want to throw their hat in the ring? I don't know if I can't remember his name. He's from, and I don't see it here. He's from the Netherlands. And if you remember, those of Bob, I've been taking NMN for 3 years now. And Nick pointed this out, that the NMN that I was taking was no longer available on Amazon. And I learned that the FDA declared that the NMN that I was taking was a drug and not a supplement. And so therefore, I couldn't buy it anymore. So I bought a substitute that was not, in fact, MNN. And then, gentleman, do you remember his name, Trent?
Nico or
yeah,
something
from
like
the
that.
Netherlands.
Younger guy.
Yeah, young guy, piped up about 3 weeks ago and said, I am the distributor for the largest distributor in Europe for NMN. And I'd like to send you some. Well, interestingly enough, he got the house number wrong. And it went to a house about a block away. And I live in such a neighborhood that people don't know who people are by name. And so she put it on Facebook that I got this package from the Netherlands addressed to Kerry Grinkmeyer. And we live in a neighborhood that has a Facebook page. And someone who knew me and knew her said, he's down the street and here's his phone number. So I got it. And he not only sent me NMN, he sent me that. And then he sent me this I was familiar with this name, resveratrol. And then he sent me some super Meditine fusion. And he sent me 2 bottles of each. So I have a year's supply. And I wanted to thank him, but there was no return address or no name. But so I'm back on NMN. That's why I could have such an argument about Bitcoin with such enthusiasm, because this stuff just hypes me up. I was taking these 2, and I started getting arthritis in my hands. And so I've stopped taking those 2, but I am taking the NMN. And I just wanted to let you know that a very kind young man sent me this stuff from the Netherlands. And I will seek him out and find him if he comes back. Okay.
We'll be watching you, Kerry, to see your physical appearance changes, if your mental appearance changes. Then I'll know whether it's a green light or a red light, whether I proceed on to that. But
okay.
I'm sorry, I'm using you as the guinea pig.
I understand.
And I don't mean that derogatorily.
I know. I'm just looking around. Carl Quintanilla made the comment on to Jim Cramer. They were commenting that Jim Cramer's hair was going gray, and they were commenting that Carl Quintanilla's hair was still black, and he made just a passing comment. You can thank Just for Men, and then I started looking more closely at the people on CNBC, and apparently they get a huge discount on Just for Men hair color. Now, I have not used any hair color as of yet, but I reserve the right to use Just for Men if I choose to.
Well, I can see that you're going to be getting on CNBC Live. And I'm sure that one of the gifts they'll give you is whatever they give the rest of their people. Anyhow, it's been good talking with you. I'm going to leave here. I've got somebody at the door. Have a good weekend.
Take care, Bob.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Anybody else got something they want to add to us? All right. It's 4:17. We've been on for about an hour and 17 minutes. If there's nothing else, I'll say goodbye.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Y'all have a good weekend.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Long live Bitcoin.